Welcome back to Financial Therapy. It's not just about the money. I'm personal financial planner, columnist, and financial therapist Rick Kahler. Research tells us that 90% of all financial decisions are made emotionally, not logically. For nearly 4 decades, I've been helping people make better money decisions. So what makes my financial worldview different from most financial experts? I blend the nuts and bolts of financial advice with the emotions that drive making them. Good money decisions are not just about the money. So let's get started with today's episode. Welcome to another edition. And last week we talked about that hating the rich can keep you poor. And we went into a number of reasons why this is. And so I thought we could continue this week and maybe give some things that can be done. But first, just a small summary and expansion on what we covered last week. And a lot of this came from an article by Camera Huddleston. It was a March 13th, 2019 column. And the headline was, "We ask Americans what they think about the rich, and their answer surprised us." And in that column, Dr. Brad Klontz, who's my co-author on 3 books, was quoted and actually was the source of the statement that hating the rich will keep you poor. So I just want to start with asking you again, how do you feel about the rich? Now, we know that the survey said that most Americans feel the rich are hardworking. I think it was 52%. Now, this is a real interesting part. Only 10% of Americans think the rich are honest. Only 10%. The majority believe they're hardworking. 10% think they're honest. 1/3 believe they're greedy. 1/3 believe that they're self-centered. Now, it would make a sense to me that if people have a belief, which we call money scripts, that the payoff for hard work is dishonesty, greed, and self-centeredness, they may not want to work very hard. And it's kind of common that we have polarizations around our money scripts. So, no wonder that Dr. Klontz says that our money scripts, which focus on the negative beliefs of the rich, can keep us poor. And I want to dive into that a little more. The problem with a negative money script associated with the rich is that they are only partial truths. So we've talked about in past episodes how a money script always has truth with it. And it always has a falsity. So would it be true that some wealthy people are dishonest? Absolutely. Is it true that 90% of rich people are dishonest? Probably not. So with all money scripts, it just depends on the context. In that article, a gentleman by the name of Tom Corley, who is the author of Rich Habits, the Daily Success Habits of Wealthy Individuals, conducted a 5-year study of the rich and poor. And he found in this, in addition to believing people accumulate wealth by being dishonest, greedy, or just luck, that many people become wealthy are from the poor or middle class and actually work their way up the ladder. He says, people don't understand what it takes to become rich. It's a brutal path to creating wealth. The simple path is to live below your means and invest your money. The hard way is to pursue a dream. So he found that working hard was quite different. He called it brutal to accumulate money. And indeed, the book, this is quite a, what do I want to say, classic on millionaires, called The Millionaire Next Door, found that only 15% of millionaires inherited their wealth. 85% then earned it, and earned it through hard work. So this is something that is worth exploring, is this what I would call a internal polarization of money scripts. And this is very normal. It's very normal that we have beliefs that are in conflict with one another. A real popular one, polarization, is that I deserve money, and then another money script that would be I don't deserve money. And it's not uncommon a person will have both of those money scripts. And that sets up a tug-of-war internally called a polarization. And they make perfect sense why they're there. Once we discover the underlying belief behind both of them and where they came from. And as we've said before, most people have formulated their worldview of money by, say, around 10 years old. So let's go back to this idea of hard work. You know, on one hand, many people believe that hard work is going to lead to accumulating wealth. It's a money script. That's one of my more popular money scripts, is you got to work hard to get money. Now, like every money script, that's true in some cases and not true in other cases. If you work hard and you start accumulating money, then all is well, right? But the problem can come in when you work hard and money doesn't come in, or you don't work hard and money comes in. Of course, you cannot work hard and money not come in. So if you have the money script that hard work will lead to accumulating wealth, and then you have another money script that wealth is obtained only by working hard at being dishonest. In other words, 10% of Americans believe that the rich are honest, meaning 90% believes if you have wealth, you are dishonest. And yet they also believe that working hard is associated with accumulating wealth. So if you, little algebraic equation, you have to conclude that working hard needs to be working hard at being dishonest. Okay? So the belief is I can accumulate money, but I'm going to need to work hard at accumulating it dishonestly. So these money scripts set up a real internal moral dilemma. Do I dare work hard to make money if it means I'm going to need to compromise my values to acquire it? Now think about that. No wonder why disparaging the rich will keep someone poor. So if you're among those that think negatively about the rich, you can take steps to modify your money scripts. And modification of a money script is the goal. Remember, a money script is more entrenched the more we use is, are, never, always in that money script. So the money script that you must work hard for money, okay, that's a pretty solid money script, or you believe that wealth is only obtained by being dishonest. That's a pretty firm money script. The goal would be to modify that money script and put a can in there, or a might. Hard work may lead to accumulating wealth, and the other part of that, and then again, it may not lead to accumulating wealth. Wealth can be obtained by being dishonest, but it also may be obtained by being honest. So the goal isn't necessarily to get rid of a money script, but it's to modify the money script, right? If we just go from getting rid of the money script, in other words, let's get rid of you got to work hard to accumulate money. If we get rid of it, well, then we're saying that's completely false. We've just created another money script by saying the only way to get wealth has nothing to do with working hard. It's being dishonest. So we want to be careful to modify our money scripts, not get rid of them. Another thing that Brad's research found, that having negative beliefs about the rich and money in general is associated with several self-destructive financial behaviors. And Brad, being a researcher, came about this very, what I want to say, scientifically. And those are people that have negative beliefs about the rich tend to be overspenders, tend to be gamblers, and tend to be financially dependent on other people. So there's a scientific correlation between that. And I liked in this article where Brad was quoted, maybe you don't agree with this. Ask yourself whether believing the rich are terrible has improved your financial well-being. It might help you feel better about where you're at, but is it helping you increase your net worth? And obviously, the data and the evidence would suggest no. So, how do I do this? How do I change my money scripts around the wealthy? I would say a good place to start is examining the sources and the reasons behind the beliefs and the feelings around those negative money scripts about the rich. And my work with clients finds that almost universally the origins of money scripts are in childhood. That's why we say that most of our beliefs about money are formed by age 10. And negative feelings about the rich can come through a plethora of sources around what our parents said about the rich, what they didn't say about the rich, how they acted and behaved around the rich, how they acted and behaved when they weren't around the rich, what society said, what school and teachers said, what wasn't said, what was implied. All of this kind of comes around to developing our views about the rich. So it's important to realize that there is a good reason why we have this belief. Every financial behavior, every financial belief makes perfect sense when we understand the underlying reasons, the underlying emotions, the underlying stories that we have come to believe. And as Brad says in this article, he said there's probably a deeply emotional story in your past or your parents' past. So talked about in past episodes how money scripts are very commonly polarized, and money scripts are very often handed down to us generationally by our parents and our grandparents. It's just how money works. It's just how it is. So these are two things that are really important to examine when we're examining our money history, are the polarizations and the family history around all that. And there's something you can do that can start to bring out the family history. It's something called the money atom. It's a 2D genealogram. And it can be insightful in starting to help us understand what the dynamics were in our childhood. Not a lot of sources online for this. Best source I know of is Facilitating Financial Health, which is self-serving for me to mention that because I'm a co-author on it. But in there it has the money atom exercise that is detailed. That's an excellent starter exercise. Something else, another self-serving recommendation, is to pick up the book, The Financial Wisdom of Ebenezer Scrooge, again, a book I co-authored with Brad and his father, Ted. That can be it's a fun story as we dissect the fable, the Christmas Carol, written by Dickens, and apply it to money and money scripts and money transformation. It's really a fun read and very powerful read. So those are two things that you could start with to begin to unpack. Where do my money scripts come from? How did they form? There's another option that I like, and I have not talked about this on a previous podcast. And that's applying Byron Katie's 4 questions. And she is famous for something called The Work. And the work are 4 questions she developed to apply to any belief we have about something or somebody. And typically this is a very, very strong belief. And we know when it comes to money, a strong belief is a money script, right? So here are the 4 questions that you can apply to each of your money scripts. So go individually with this to each script. Maybe one script is you got to work hard for money. Apply it to that. Another one might be that the rich only become rich if they're dishonest. And of course, you could have unlimited other money scripts about the rich. So I think doing this by writing, by journaling, would be good. Whether you write longhand or whether you do like I do and journal with your fingertips on a keyboard. The first question to ask yourself is this true? Let's just apply this to rich people obtain their wealth dishonestly. And you ask yourself, is this true? And we're looking for a 1-syllable answer. Yes or no, not a thought. Is it true? Yes or no, maybe is not. Maybe is not an answer. So as you do this, just be still and find an honest yes or no as it arises to meet this question. And if your answer is a yes, it's true, then you want to move to the next question. If it's no, then sit with that no for just a moment and move to question 3. So let's assume you have said yes. It is true that the wealthy obtain their wealth dishonestly. The second question is, can you absolutely know that that is true? And I would add to this one, in all cases. So take an opportunity to reflect at this again. Really shine a flashlight on this money script and see what it reveals to you. In this case, when you really look at the finality, the absoluteness of that statement, there's a chance you may say, no, it's not absolutely true in every case. And even if you said yes again, then you move on to question 3. How do you react? What happens when you believe that thought, that money script? What happens to you? So close your eyes and just be aware of the feelings in your body, the sensations, the behaviors that you might see when you believe that the rich get their money dishonestly. What are the images that come up? Images in the past, images in the future. What emotions are arising? How do you or did you treat somebody who is rich? How do you treat yourself with the thought that the rich get their money dishonestly? So write that down. Just journal on that. Write whatever comes up. Try not to censor yourself. And then you can move on to the 4th question. Who would you be without that thought? Who would you be if you didn't have that firmly entrenched money script? So close your eyes, take another moment to reflect. If you believe that the rich obtain their money honestly, just kind of flip it around. How would you see the rich? How would you feel about the rich? Dropping all your judgments, try on the polar opposite of that money script. And notice what's revealed within you. Now, again, the position here is not to adopt the polar opposite of the money script, but you might say, when I have this, that all rich people got their money dishonestly, I despise, I have anger toward the rich, I have a sense of betraying society within me. Certainly, I don't want to become rich because I don't want to sacrifice my values, etc. Now, what would you be with the thought that the rich obtain their money honestly? And just sit with that, like, wow, I guess I wouldn't be so judgmental. I'd probably be really accepting of the rich. I would maybe look that it was a good thing to be rich. It might be something that I would enjoy being or working hard if I really thought I could get money honestly. So I think you get the idea of how you try these on. And so going through that can really help you begin to shift those money scripts from just being absolute and entrenched to getting some modification around them. And Corley, in this article, said that people need to be more open-minded if they want to eliminate negative beliefs about wealth. And being open-minded is simply challenging those hard and fast money scripts that we have. So that is my challenge to you today, and my recommendations on how you might start to be more flexible around your attitudes toward the rich, and how in so doing You may even change your financial trajectory. You may even change your financial and emotional well-being. And that would be a pretty big thing, wouldn't it, to do? So I hope that you have enjoyed this. Maybe you haven't enjoyed it so much, but hopefully it can be helpful to you in examining, taking a deeper look at those beliefs that might be keeping you boxed in that financial comfort zone we talked about in last week. And in essence, limiting your financial success. So again, thank you for listening. And if you have any questions on this or any other topic, drop me an email at rick@rickkahler.com and either answer you or could take your idea and actually feature it on a podcast. So thank you, take care, and I look forward to being with you next week. Thanks for joining me, Rick Kahler, for another episode of Financial Therapy. It's not just about the money. This is where I combine the nuts and bolts of financial advice with the emotions that drive making them. Remember, every financial behavior, whether it appears illogical to you or others, makes perfect sense when we understand the underlying beliefs, feelings, and thoughts. Sign up for my weekly blog at financialawakenings.com. I hope you'll join me again for our next episode.